Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue our comic book movie journey through film with what many consider the greatest of all time. The Dark Knight, released July 18th, 2008. It was written for the screen by Jonathan Nolan and Christopher Nolan, with a story by David S. Goyer and directed by Christopher Nolan. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And returning to continue her work on the Dark Knight trilogy here, we've got Clare DeGennaro. How you doing? Welcome back.
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, of course. You're one of my favorite guests. One of my favorite people to have on. You always bring a lot to the conversation, and the Dark Knight trilogy is a good one to be a part of. You know, that's a fun. That's why, you know, when we had a little bit of a scheduling conflict last week, we were like, you know what, this is not the one to go, oh, it's okay, she can miss it. No, it's the Dark Knight. How you doing? How you doing this week with this movie? You know, like, how you feeling about it?
Oh my gosh. I mean, as we were just saying, this is probably a lot of people's favorite movie, especially if you're our age or around our age. So I can't wait to kind of get into it, kind of unpack that, and just relive what it was like when this movie was coming out, because it was very culturally significant.
Oh, dude, it's a magnificent movie. I love this one so dearly, and it's one that I've had an interesting relationship to, because it does not go so far back as 2008. I did not get into this movie until much later. But Joe, how about you? How you feeling about this movie?
Yeah, I don't remember when the first time I watched it, I guess, was, but I don't know if your guys are the same as me. I could probably quote a good 80% of this, like legitimately 80% of this movie. And I feel like I'm almost, like, I've probably reached that threshold of, like, if you watch this movie with me, you probably don't want to watch this movie with me, because, like, I hate that person, like, that says, like, things during the movie, you know, like, oh, actually, did you know, sort of thing. But, like, it's not even that. Like, I don't even say, like, a trivia thing. It's just, like, I'll just say the line, or, like, this movie gets me to talk. I don't know. Like, I am in, every time I watch this movie, I'm into it.
Oh yeah.
And now, like, being able to watch it and then know I'm going to be able to talk about it at length, you know. And that is the purpose. Like, this is a long time coming in my life to be able to talk about The Dark Knight at length, you know. Like, I feel like I've never really gotten the time to dissect the movie fully. But that's the thing. Everyone knows. Like, you talk to anybody, it's just like, oh yeah, we all know. Like, we know what this movie is. We know the bar it's set, the standards, you know, that just seem to not be matched. Since then, some movies have come close, but even I still haven't. It is the tippy top of my comic book rating. Even on the good old top 100, it was number 9. So even above Spider-Man for me, which is pretty big. Which is pretty big.
I was going to say, I feel like Spider-Man and Dark Knight are the two that I could see being neck and neck for the top.
Oh yeah,
just for the pure, like, it's so important to you as a kid than growing up, and again, also movies that are important to people who don't generally care about superhero movies. Like, this movie was just a movie that every person was talking about when it came out, for a lot of different reasons. Some kind of sad. But
Right.
it touched the cultural zeitgeist in a way that not even really the MCU has done.
Oh no! Like this dominated. Like there's this review recently that Guillermo del Toro gave The Killer, that is very very spot on, and it was a little bit of a lengthy tweet, but it ended with it's nice when you can watch a movie and a film at the same time. You know, it feels like this is as entertaining and as action packed and as exciting as any general action adventure movie there's ever been, but it has this heightened art to it. It feels like there was a great deal of care put into it, which elevates it beyond movie to film. You know, like it feels this is cinema. You know, this is that shit right there. I actually got a chance to see this in the theater a couple months back, which was the first time I ever got to see this in theater. I did not see it back in 2008, and changed it for me. You know, I always liked it. I always really enjoyed it. But even I'm still hesitant to call it my favorite Batman movie. I love the Batman a great deal, but it's definitely neck and neck up there. The one that I've always had a tough time putting it above is Superman 78. I love Superman 78. One of my favorite movies of all time. After seeing this in theaters, I have no doubt that this is above that. There's after Oppenheimer and revisiting this movie and getting to see it on a big screen, it kind of recontextualizes Christopher Nolan as a filmmaker for me. And seeing just how much visual prowess this had, which I never really gave it credit for, and how much more character Batman actually has than I've ever given him credit for. I've always kind of undersold this movie as this isn't about Batman. It's about the Joker and Two-Face, and that's what this movie. I don't know if I feel that way after this most recent rewatch.
It's the exact same thing watching it for this, because I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much Bruce Wayne actually does do. And not just like Batman does, that Bruce Wayne has in this movie. And yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's usually the common narrative is Heath Ledger as the Joker. I mean, no one's denying that. That's kind of the main takeaway for a lot of people. And then, most would even say that Harvey Dent, that Two-Face, is a more compelling character in the movie than Batman. And I think I still would agree with that. I think, like, Harvey might be the most interesting character in the movie. But I did try to focus as much on Christian Bale and Batman this time on this watch, and like it's still not as much as I think I would want. Like I think the new Batman, Robert Pattinson, that is a Batman movie. Like that, right. I love how he's front and center a whole lot. There's a lot more diving into his character specifically. But I don't think it is like a fault for this movie that there's not this deep dive into Batman. This is a sequel movie, and I didn't know that coming into it. I don't think I watched Batman Begins first. I think this was my first Christian Bale Batman movie that I ever watched was The Dark Knight.
It was for me as well,
or maybe that I at least remember. Like the first Batman that I remember is Christian Bale. Well, I guess technically it's the animated versions of Batman.
Yeah,
I watch cartoons, but the first live action Batman I remember is Christian Bale, and it's here. And then I watched Batman Begins after, so that there's the dive into Christian Bale and into Batman if you want it. You know, that's what Batman Begins is all about. This is the world's already built, and now we're off for the races, you know, sort of thing. And that's why I'm excited for the next Batman to see if it's going to follow in the same suit as this one or not. If they're just gonna rip it and just go now that the world is built and everything. But can't speak on something that's not out. I can speak on The Dark Knight and how well it was executed. But Christian Bale shouldn't. I would always say this is the worst Batman out of any. You know, it's more the villains that get the highlight and everything, but Christian Bale does not do a bad job, or Batman he does not do a bad job as Batman
by any measure. Yeah.
It's just he just kind of gets outshined sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, and that's not a detriment to the movie. It's just it just shows how good this movie can be in its grandest scope. I still find we talked about this with Batman Begins, the recasting of Maggie Gyllenhaal in the role of Rachel.
I would say that's the one glaring bad casting in a very, very well casted movie. Which is weird because I feel like a lot of people like the recast. Like I feel like
there are a lot of people who think that Maggie Gyllenhaal is the right choice, the right recast.
Bizarre to me.
Yeah, she's okay. It's not like she's outwardly bad. That's not what I'm trying to get at. It's just that, like, in a movie of such powerhouse performances where she's surrounded by these super talented, and Maggie Gyllenhaal is a good actress. It's not like she's in a room full of people that she's not holding up next to. No, like, she has a great filmography and she's done a lot of great stuff. It's just fascinating that. And I tend to blame Christopher Nolan a lot of the time whenever a woman doesn't get enough to chew on in a Christopher Nolan movie, because you find that in almost every Christopher Nolan movie, is that the woman lead has hardly anything to go on. You found it in Oppenheimer with Emily Blunt. Like, what she does with that role is fantastic, but she's hardly there, and I'd say, like, even in the first movie, I think they did a better job with Rachel than they do in this one.
They did.
Kind of
I think it was
fridging
the
her.
writing of the character. It was a lot. I feel like watching this time too, because I was kind of focusing on it. Think about a lot of the writing of the character just makes very little sense compared to what she was in the previous movie. There's a lot of moments where she just seems, first of all, to not know what she wants, but also like this scene where she's like, "Yeah, Bruce, I'm gonna totally be with you," and then the next scene she is writing him a letter that no, she's not. Like, it just makes her seem very unlikable, which is kind of unfortunate because female characters are always judged more harshly for being likable. But it just feels like a completely different character than the first movie. It doesn't feel like she and Bruce have any history or any real reason for them to be together.
Yeah, the whole point of them in the first one, like, Rachel was his, like, rock. That was like that. Like, she was like his kind of like moral compass as well. Like, he was thinking of killing the man that killed his parents, and Rachel slapped the fuck out of you. She's like, no, like, what are you thinking? Your father would be so disappointed in you right now. Like, she actually had so much like impact on Bruce. But like in this movie, it kind of just feels like she's with Harvey now, but Bruce still wants her. Rachel wants to move on.
She's kind of leading him on too.
It is this weird back and forth. Yeah, it is like,
and it is complicated. Like, it is a tough situation. She did at one point tell him, if one day there's no more Bat, then I'll be there. Yeah. And Bruce has to acknowledge that things change. Yeah.
I mean, like, she can't live her whole life waiting for him to hang up the suit, like, sort of thing. So there is like it does go back and
take
forth,
there,
but I don't know.
She does tell him at the party with Harvey that, like, no, I'll still wait for you. Like, she says that to him at the party, and then Harvey interrupts them. So I just, like, I don't get that.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, it's a little flippant. It is. There's a little bit of a back and forth there. I will say that the death scene, as much as I'm like iffy on the whole killing a woman to further the hero story, and it does create an interesting conflict about. It creates one of my favorite character moments for Christian Bale whenever he's sitting in the living room in his full suit without the cowl and stuff, and he's like, "She was gonna wait for me, Alfred."
And Alfred takes the note. It's like,
this can wait. It's all right.
What is that? What is that, Alfred? What's that thing you have there? Don't worry about it. You don't need to know whatsoever. Yeah, but Alfred's always a real one, and he's the constant in every Batman movie.
That is Maggie Gyllenhaal's best scene, though. Whenever she's sitting there on the phone and she's like, "It's okay, Harvey, it's all right, we're."
For
Like the
you, or they're
Rachel of the
like,
first movie.
Yeah, yes, it does. It does 100%. It feels like there's finally
That softness, that vulnerability.
yeah. There's more substance than just the. Yeah, I think I brought this up with Batman Begins because we were talking about Maggie Gyllenhaal's recasting. There's that chick on TikTok who does the stereotypical women acted and written by men. And she shows up to the office and she's like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" Like does all that, like it feels like they tried to write her as like one of the guys almost, like at the beginning whenever she's like, and it's the right spirit to have, like, if you're the Gotham DA and you're not getting shot at, you're not doing your job right, like shit like that. Like, it's interesting, but it's also like,
it's just not the character.
No, yeah, it felt like in the first movie she would have been like, "Oh, the man I love just got a gun pulled on him."
Yeah, that's
maybe be a little bit more like, "Are you okay?" Like,
true.
That's a badass scene too.
There's like that relationship that she has with the DA in the first one too, where she's very concerned about him when he goes missing. Right. I also just don't know if I would buy that Rachel even likes Harvey Dent that much. Like, I think that he doesn't seem like the kind of person that she would go for, because she's very principled, and I feel like I love Harvey Dent, but I think that he's more like kind of willing to bend the rules, kind of willing to, he's two-faced, so he has like that other side of him that's maybe not as noble as everyone else is making him out to be.
Right.
And I feel like Rachel would see right through that. I don't feel like she would really care for him the way that she does. It doesn't seem to make sense that she does care for him the way that she does.
Right. Yeah, no, and like that's why, like, whenever I say like Bruce can't expect her to wait forever, I would almost anticipate that the Rachel from the first movie would.
No, I think she absolutely would. I think she wouldn't, at least not for Harvey Dent.
Yeah, exactly. Like it almost feels like it happened by proximity. Like, she's the assistant DA, he's the district attorney. Oh, it just happened, and it's like, I don't know about that.
Like, I feel like a lot of his qualities are things she doesn't like about Bruce. Like, he's very stubborn. He does whatever he wants. He's like puts himself in danger. Like, these are all things that she didn't.
Maybe that's why she's with him. Maybe it's like she reminds him a bit, or like he reminds her a bit of Bruce, and it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of jealousy. All
the worst parts of him.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it is. She does seem to just not really care about Harvey that much. Like, it every time they're out. Yeah, I don't know. And in the first one, she's like the most caring person there is, and like she's the good lawyer as well. She's like, any corruption, any sign of that is like, no, like that can't happen. Like she's automatically gonna fight it, and like she does have some lawyer moments, I guess. Like with when they're interrogating Lau, and they're like, he's like, I'm good with calculations, and they're like, oh well, Rico, we can get all of you. We can get all of you. So that was pretty cool.
When she's like, thank you, hold on a second, I gotta, she's like, we can get them on a fucking Rico charge, like we got their ass. And that's like one of those things that, again, I think it just kind of happened by proximity, like between Harvey and Rachel. It almost feels like they're in the same line of work. They have the same motives, not the same methods, but they want the same things. And it was just kind of like, you're hot, I'm hot. Let's do this thing. And it's fine, like that's probably the weakest part of the film.
Love triangle for sure.
Yeah, it's like, I get it. It spices it up with a little bit of a dramatic flair, but in a movie that's already so jam packed, I don't know how much you need that. I think that you could have even continued for that conflict at the end there of Rachel in one place, Harvey in another. They don't even need to be together. That's not the part that's driving that scene forward. It's the fact that Batman leaves to save Rachel. He's like, I'm going to go get Rachel. Like, that is what I'm going to do. It just feels like a part of this movie that they didn't need. That
I think it would work.
It comes back around and rises, but
I feel like it would work if the actors had chemistry. And I don't feel that any of the three. I honestly think that Bruce and Harvey Dent have more chemistry than Maggie does with either of them. And That I think that would make it more exciting, but as it stands, it just seems like they had to add some kind of romantic conflict, so that's what they decided to do.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if in the
Harvey's
comics maybe she's with Harvey Dent. Is that a thing? Is Rachel
I could not tell you. I couldn't tell you.
Harvey's fall is like, that's the sad thing, is that it doesn't work well for Rachel, but
That's true.
Man, it works well for Harvey. Like,
that's fair.
You know, just the little push, you know, that Joker had to give him, you know, like you just needed that little push to go insane. And like it works really well for him. It also works well for Bruce, you know, like that shot of him just standing over the rubble, you know, like probably I think it's like one of the, maybe it might be the cover of the DVD case, I think. If I remember right, but that was a potential shot.
One of the more iconic shots from this movie for sure.
But like it is sad that like her death isn't like strong for her. It's only strong
it's to push
for the
other
characters
dudes forward for sure.
But yeah, I agree.
I
don't know. I
have
guess
one question that I want to ask because this always confuses me, and I think I know what it is. But okay, so when Joker tells Batman, like, you can save one of them, does he give Batman Harvey Dent's address and say it's Rachel's address?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. That's what happens. 'Cause I never really totally got that, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, he knows who he will go to. So he gives him the wrong shit. He knows who will be saved. He knows that he'll save Harvey, and he wants Harvey to go insane. Like that's what's crazy. Like,
he knows he'll get to them, but he'll get to
look like
that
a man with a plan.
Yeah.
The Joker. I was trying.
Let's talk about him.
I was trying my hardest not to be like performance, character, line. I was gonna give him everything, you know. I did give him performance and character, and make, you know, it's like it's just it is kind of undeniable, you know. Like I was trying to spread the love, and I'm like, oh my god, it's just kind of insane watching this dude do what he's doing. Like it's incredible, and the character work that's done on him, like he could just be an actual insane person that is getting incredibly lucky, or he's planning
he's got a plan.
Obviously. Like some of this is planned, but some of it like really is just like up to the random chaos. Like whenever he's taken out like 3 people at once, the judge, the commissioner, I think at the time. Yeah. And supposed to be Harvey, I think, is the other. Yeah. Like I guess like, does the Joker really know that the dude's just gonna like chill at his desk and take a sip of his bourbon or whatever, you know, to kill him?
I don't think all at the same time.
Yeah. But eventually, you know, I guess like, is that all happening concurrently? I guess I don't know. I guess I haven't really thought about that. Like, is that? Well, yeah.
That's my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah.
Great scene.
The cascading assassinations into Joker showing up at Bruce's penthouse.
That's right. He does. Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Oh God, dude, that's incredible.
I love it. I love it. And it's not like I already had the idea that it would probably be my favorite scene because I've always loved it. It's one of my, you know, just from, you know, when he's holding Maggie Gyllenhaal there and he's like, I had this wife, you know, he does that whole thing and, let's put a smile on that face. Dude is fucking, dude is gnarly. But like something that's, when I was in the movie theater watching that scene, I was like, I got chills because the way the world is like spinning around Rachel here and everything's spinning out of control and the camera stops moving whenever Batman goes, then you're really going to love me. You know?
Gotta love that. Gotta love
stupid one-liners.
Why he does that voice, I don't know. Like after watching Robert Pattinson just talk normally, like he just kind of whispers, just talks normally. Like I never really thought like, why he does this, but like
I'm wearing hockey pads.
Yeah, I love it. It's perfect. Like it just. It adds to the, like, holy shit, I am afraid of you, you know, like, Robert Pattinson doesn't really, he uses, I don't know, fear is important to him, but he's kind of more sympathetic at the end, like, he doesn't mean to, really drive fear. I guess he wants to, but like this is just pure fear. Like whenever he has Falcone up in the balcony, you know, he's
I
like,
love that.
if you're wanting to intimidate a guy, you should really pick a better spot. This fall wouldn't kill me at all. He's like,
I'm counting on it.
yeah, God, man, look, he just got man. I mean, love that shit. I love all those scenes that come up. I love that, but
Salvatore Maroni.
yeah. Oh, that was Maroney.
Yeah, Falcone's locked up.
Oh,
But Maroni is around.
I'm going with the new one. In the new one, Mulroney's locked up. He was the big bust, but Falcone's out at large.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the writers get confused about them too.
Yeah,
they're like the same. You know,
There's two Italian mob bosses.
Yeah.
One's in jail, one's not.
Yeah, one's the underboss, one's the boss, and whichever way
switch.
you go is up to you. You know, I do love that scene in the courtroom at the beginning, though, with Harvey Dent. It's kind of his introduction. Where he's like, I'm the real brains of the operation. He's just a fall guy. And he pulls the gun on him and he disarms him. And if you're going to take out a public defender, sir, I suggest you buy American. I think that's just so fucking funny.
I love moments that make me feel patriotic, you know, even though like I really don't care. Like I really don't care to feel patriotic at all. That's just like it is just in a movie.
You're just like, you know what? Yeah, like, if you are going to, you oughta, you know.
You're right, Harvey. Man, you know what? You tell him, dude. Yeah. It's more just a badass line.
Well, he's going for a re-elect. He's also always thinking about re-election and stuff. And if you drive home the
marketing genius, he's always on. Harvey's he's I don't know.
I believe in Harvey Dent. Come on, Harvey.
Yeah. I don't, you know, he doesn't know you well enough to know he's making fun of you, but I do. Come on. I mean, he did kind of just make fun of him literally at the beginning. Was like, oh, the guy with those fucking corny ass commercials, this guy, I'm going to believe in this guy. Like he literally made fun of him at first and then he ended it with, yeah, I believe in you. Harvey Dent, you're going to protect this city, dude.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's actually a pretty good fucking speech, you know, like to, lowball him a little bit, and then come around and be like, because it's a good way to sell people on somebody, to be like, even I doubted him at first, and now I'm sitting here, and I know this is the man that is meant to lead Gotham into the future. I went with Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent for my character. I think that as far as the arc he goes on in a single movie.
Wow.
One of the better single movie comic book movie arcs ever. You know, usually something like this, I find myself going, gosh, I wish they would have introduced him in the first one, showing him as like the White Knight, the guy who can save the city, and then show his descent in the second one. They don't need that at all in this. You know, like it is perfect the way it is. And I just really, really love the descent into madness, the, you know, making his own luck. Every time that there's like a little allusion to the fact that it's a double-sided coin, I always love that whenever he's like, you'd leave a man's life to chance. He's like, well, not exactly.
Yeah, well,
no, he's like,
you don't get it, dude. You don't get it. I have a come on. I had
I have a whole thing.
Here. I was really intimidating him. Come on. And that's Polka Dot guy.
Exactly the kind of man. Exactly the kind of mind that the Joker attracts.
Yeah. I mean, the Joker was right, dude. I mean, I almost went with Harvey, and then I saw you go with Harvey, and that just put the nail further into the coffin of me going with Joker. I mean, I love the joke. I mean, Heath Ledger is just, whenever he's on screen, he takes over. Like, it's just
electric.
You know, I am focused on what this dude is saying at all times, and like trying to read every little bit of facial acting that he's doing to see if I can notice anything deeper. The mannerisms, yes, the licking of the lips, he puts his own makeup on, you know, it's like, it's very street Joker. This is not like the Jack Nicholson Joker, you know, this is not the same.
Well, and people, I think that there's a common misconception about this Joker, that he's all dark and nothing matters and serial. Dude is fucking hilarious.
You want to see a magic trick? Yeah. You want to see a magic trick? I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. God, like
it's gone.
Yeah.
Now he has some great lines, but also like I think this is one of just the most interesting interpretations of Joker because I think you either go the route of he's completely insane and like society has failed him, or like he's just pure evil. I feel like this Joker is, especially with all of the stories of like how did I get this scar, you know, where he just kind of tailors it to whoever he's talking about. At the end of the movie, I'm like, he probably gave it to himself just to have like a reason to talk about this. Like he's so, I don't think that there's any reason that he became insane. I think that he just has like this chaotic evil, and I just find it to be one of the most interesting interpretations of a comic book villain, to be honest. I think it's the most successful translation of a very campy villain to a real world setting.
Oh, absolutely. There's this thing about him where this kind of recontextualizes Joker forever. Joker was never exactly like this in any media before, not even comic books. Like there are elements, you know, there are parts of him that are bleeding through. It's an amalgamation of like every Joker that's ever come before, and then putting it in a more real world setting, and it's fascinating. You know, I think that there's a nuance to his performance that's just so veiled. Like you don't know. He's a fucking liar. You never know exactly what he means,
anything.
if he's being for real or anything. Like at the end, are those triggers going to blow up the other boat? Are they going to blow up themselves? Do they actually have any way of knowing? Everybody just kind of takes him at face value. Everyone's like, "Oh well, he's making threats. We ought to stick to it." But it's fascinating, you know. I love the way that he, you know why he used knives. You know,
in some ways,
more personal. You get to savor all the little emotions.
In some ways, I know your friends better than you ever did. You know, and then he takes off his jacket. Oh, dude, God, man, yeah, he's perfect. I
love that they cut away and they cut back, and Joker's just manhandled this guy.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
There's that piece of glass next to him. Like, are you an idiot? Like, he's obviously going to use this.
Yeah.
No, that's. I have two contenders for my scene, and the Batman and Joker interrogation is one of them. Yeah. The good cop, bad cop, not exactly sort of thing. Whenever the chair,
he's behind him, so
oh god, whenever the chair is put on the door. From that moment on, it's like, we're getting it, you know. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and they're like, no, shit, no, fuck. You know, like, everyone on the other side of the glass is like, no, God damn it, wait.
Uh-oh. And, I mean, man, it really looked like he, like, punched him for real. Like, I don't know. I
think he did, because I was reading about it. And I think Heath Ledger was like, no, like, you need to actually punch me. And Christian Bale was like, I don't want to do that. And he did.
Jeez, yeah. Like, I think there was some real hits in there. Like, thrown on the table, too. Like, I mean, like, just thrown into the window. He's so insane. And, like, the whole, like, he's just monologuing to him, like, the whole time. Like, never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy, doesn't feel next to you. You know, just, like, he's playing with it. Like, he doesn't even care. Like, everything's going according to his plan. He's like, I'm right where I need to be. You know, he's just waiting to tell them the addresses of Rachel and Harvey. That's all he's doing. And I don't know. I love Heath Ledger in this movie. I don't think it'll ever be topped ever. And if it does, I gladly invite it. But it takes someone really, really dedicating their life to a role like this to do it. Like, I don't know. I saw Aaron Eckhart talk about the scene of him in the hospital whenever Joker is talking to him in the hospital, and that's my other contender for scene. And he said that Heath Ledger was just walking around the room just like muttering to himself, just like just like not even real words, just walking around the room just muttering, and then like just not even saying his lines, nothing, just walking around the room being Joker. And then like he said, like, it made him just, like, stunned. Like, it stunned him. He's like, I don't know, like, he's like, this is incredible. Like, I think he said, like, this is what acting is all about. But, like, I don't know. Is it true that, like, I know what happened to Heath Ledger and like how he went, but like it's not just because of this role. Like I think some
he had
people
a
think
lot of
That's a massive myth. No.
yeah.
I
Like
think I think that's what really bothers me about like this current thing of like, because there's been what 3 or 4 Jokers since him of like, oh, Joker makes you crazy, because by all accounts I was reading about his interactions with the other cast members, and they all said that he was nothing but lovely outside of the set. Like it wasn't. And I feel like now it's like you play the Joker and it's free reign to
Jared
like,
Leto sent like a dead cat to Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, so, and I feel like people just, but that was not at all what he was doing. And I think like, he was just a fantastic actor who had a lot of
like Michael Caine, Aaron Eckhart. Everyone was like, he was a lovely guy. Like in between takes, like he wouldn't go full method. It's not like he was always on set. In Joker mode, like they would cut.
When the makeup was off, he was Heath Ledger.
He was fine.
Incredible.
Wow. Yeah. There's a lot of myths surrounding the idea of what this performance did to Heath Ledger, but the truth is that there's just a lot more. It can't come down to this guy went really hard for a role that's actually a little funny. Because that's the thing for me is that like there's a lot of beats in this performance that are straight up comedic. Like it's not like. And obviously there's like a little bit of like chaos, nothing matters thing going on, but like the comedic timing that Heath Ledger has as Joker is fucking outstanding. Mm-hmm. You could tell this man was a funny fucking actor. You know what I'm saying?
He was a comedic actor for sure in a lot of
Oh yeah, like he was in 10 Things I Hate About You, A Knight's Tale, all this stuff. This was an odd role for him to take. People were like, "What the fuck?"
Wow. Well, the real
also like. One of the things I always think of this movie is that you forget how extremely handsome he was.
Oh, gorgeous.
Because he was extremely handsome.
Fucking gorgeous.
He's so creepy in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's the hair. The hair, green, greasy hair will do it. Yeah, and scars. I mean, that's probably going to do it to anybody. But no, he was fun. Like, killing the fake Batman and then putting the card on him of like, with a real Batman, please stand up.
Get a little 2008 reference.
Yeah, a little Eminem, reference in there. And then like the 2 like handheld videos that like he has like when he's like he hangs that guy upside down, has him read the cards, and then the first guy that's just like the fake Batman he kills. Like those were, I think it was said that Nolan watched over the first one with the fake Batman. But, like, Heath Ledger completely just directed and did that, like, on his own. He was just, like, kind of just told, like, go. And then the second one where the dude's upside down reading the cards, that's all Heath Ledger. Like, Christopher Nolan he just trusted him. He's like, you got it. Like, off that first one, dude, go. He's like,
you got it. That's
you got it. Like, direct, like, do whatever you want to do. And, like, imagine being that actor, like, that's, like, in the take with Heath Ledger in that moment. Like, I don't know, that would be...
You're a background actor.
Yeah. That'd be kind of crazy.
That's one of my favorite stories from behind the scenes of my favorite scene, the one where he arrives in Bruce's penthouse, is that that was an early day on set.
Yeah.
That was not deep into the production process. So Michael Caine hadn't met Heath Ledger. A lot of the extras had not met Heath Ledger.
Wow.
And they don't really know where the scene's going. So he's just wandering around the room doing random shit, getting in people's faces, and nobody knows what the fuck he's doing. So it's all very genuine. Apparently Michael Caine tells a story where like on that day on set, it was so jarring to see this gentleman come on set like that he forgot his lines. Like he forgot what he was supposed to say throughout the day.
That would change everything.
Imagine making Michael Caine forget his lines.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
So Michael Caine.
Yeah. Some men just want to watch the world burn. How many lines are there in this movie? Is the thing. Like
either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There's one.
Why so serious? That was on everyone's t-shirt for 3 years.
Why so serious?
The posters. I feel like I saw that poster everywhere. It was like blurry and him like looking through like glass or something like that. Yeah.
Put a smile on that face.
Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you
stranger.
God, it's just he's
one of the best comic book villain introductions ever. that one.
Oh my god. Yeah, like yeah. He's
Every
just gonna
time
do
I
the
watch
same
it, I
to
get
you.
surprised when he's that last guy. Like, I
Dude,
know it's gonna happen. I'm like,
I
oh
know
my
it's him,
god.
but he's there the
It's
whole
him.
fucking time. He's the one they
They're
pick
the
up
whole
on the corner
Yep.
at the very beginning. It's the first
Yep.
one you see.
But he knew. He knew it'd just be him and one other dude that he had to take, you know? It's just
I'm supposed to kill the bus driver.
yeah.
Bus driver, what bus driver?
I think the line I will go with is a Lucius Fox line, though.
Love Lucius.
You know, it's anytime someone just gets shut down, just one-on-one,
Oh.
just with words. I love it. And it's the
Hold on to that.
yeah, like the guy who's coming in to blackmail him and be like, "Hey, I looked into R&D. I found these blueprints. I want $10 million a year for the rest of my life." And you know, it's Morgan Freeman, so it's just automatically badass. But he says, "Let me get this straight. You think that your client, one of the wealthiest and most powerful men in the world, is secretly a vigilante who spends his nights beating criminals to a pulp with his bare hands, and your plan is to blackmail this person?" I mean,
Good luck. You know,
I
like
was
that
like,
whole thing.
yeah, he's like, okay. He's like, you know, fair enough.
Hold
And
on to that. And then the way that comes back around, whenever Bruce Wayne throws his Lamborghini in front of a truck who was trying to kill him, and he gets out of the car and makes eye contact with Bruce, and Bruce is like,
shut the fuck up.
you have all the power in the world, and I'm still holding it down for you, okay? You know, like it's one of those great. That was one of the things for me is that, like, Bruce Wayne, while this movie gets a chance to focus on Harvey Dent and Joker and their descent into villainy and their pure villainy as it is, you get to watch him just be a hero, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really, really satisfying. Like, one of the reasons I picked the penthouse scene as my favorite scene is because, you know, let her go. Poor choice of words. And then just lets her fall, but there's not a moment's hesitation. And I know it's Rachel, so like obviously there's no hesitation, but anybody could have been falling out of that window and he would have dove after them. And you know, I know he knows his cape works, but like, bruh, like that's a risk no matter what. Like that's just one of those great hero moments that I absolutely love to see. And he's got a few of those in this one, and it makes it just fantastic. I mean, the final conversation with Joker, you know, fucking brilliant.
Oh my
I think that's
god,
what sets him apart from Two-Face, right? It's like he's seeing Two-Face as the real hero, but Two-Face isn't able to maintain that nobility once something bad happens to him, whereas Bruce does. Bruce is willing to give up everything for the greater good, and Harvey's just not.
The White Knight and the Dark Knight. But it turns out the other way.
I know writers who use subtext, and they're all cowards. That's one of my favorite memes of all time.
Even Commissioner Gordon, good old what's his name, Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, baby.
Even yeah, like oh my god, like he's incredible. Forgot about him. Like that scene where it's him and Harvey and his kids and wife, and like you know flipping the coin. He's like, you know, no, like do
we
me,
got you,
like,
you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like it's crazy. Like what?
That's one of my favorite scenes in this whole movie. When
so many climaxes like that. There's so many like huge moments that happen that are just insane. It's the rise. Like how long? How many days is this that this occurs? Is this like just like a couple days?
Yeah, like a couple weeks at most, maybe.
Oh, weeks. Okay. Oh, I guess yeah. He has like the plan. He goes to Hong Kong.
Yeah,
so.
like there's
plotline where Batman goes to China always. I'm like,
that's my shot.
So random.
That's my shot in the movie. Was him on top of the skyscraper. And then just learning that Christian Bale was like, no, I need to be the one to do this. He was like, we can have a stuntman do this. Like you're in a suit, you know. It's like it's shot from a helicopter. Like it's not even. We're not even gonna know it's you, dude. And he's like, no, I need to do. I'm fucking Batman. I need to stand at the top of a skyscraper in my costume, and you know, like that's I mean, come on. Like I would 100%.
I did not realize it was a practical shot.
Yeah,
they had like a little clip. He had like a rope. He had like a rope, you know, keeping him on the building. But man, that's I mean,
also practical. I know the plane in The Dark Knight Rises is a practical shot.
I'd say no way he's actually getting like no way that cable's
Yeah.
real? No, like no.
Yeah, I doubt it. But
Nolan's
I
a
love
real
the practical.
dude, but
I love the
don't think he
practical
can do
effects
that.
in this movie, though, man. Like the truck flipping is one of the most iconic little works of miniatures ever.
Yeah.
Like the
No,
fact that these.
it's not
The
a
semi
miniature.
truck's a miniature?
They filmed that on the streets of Chicago.
I thought that was a real
That's
thing.
practical stuff.
Oh, the truck flipping is a real fucking truck
semi-truck
flipping?
is a real
and it's
truck.
not even on a set. It is on the streets of Chicago. They had to have engineers come in and prove that they wouldn't hit anything.
Yeah, I think
there's
that's a
a
real
stunt
truck.
driver inside the truck when it flips over.
God damn, did not know that. I knew that. I know that most of the work with the Batmobile throughout this movie is miniature work.
Mm-hmm. I did hear about that, but the truck is indeed real.
Truck is real.
No CGI.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, that is also my shot of the movie. Is the truck vertical in front of me?
Yeah,
that scene's awesome too. Like
no, it makes sense that had to be real. Like the weight of it makes it incredibly impactful.
Like you can't knock a truck into these buildings.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
How do you think Nolan, like, what people do you think he goes to?
Someone to be in the truck when that happened? I don't know.
Yeah, like, he's like, all right, guys, so for this movie, I'm going to need a Boeing 747 and I want to crash it right into this hangar. Or he's like, I want to get a semi-truck, flip it right in the middle of the streets of Chicago. How do we get this done, guys? Like,
can we make it happen?
Who do you go to?
So we can crash a plane into it. Let's do that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. But even the part that leads up to that, like where Joker's just screaming, "Hit me!" They're playing that game of chicken. Coming at him, and then like,
come on, hit me! I want you to hit me. Do it.
Yeah, Batman's like on the floor. He falls over, or whatever, and that goon tries to take off his mask. And he gets shocked, and Joker's laughing at him, like, it's just, oh man, like, yeah, he's
that's you son of a bitch. Yeah, no, when I saw this in the movie theater a couple months back, like when the truck flips, just fucking chills. Like the scale of it, the weight of it, dude, fucking incredible. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite little bits of sound designs, editing. I can't tell if there's a score playing, but I can't tell if it is the score that makes the sound. Whenever Joker has the upper hand in any situation, and it's slowly building to the fact that people haven't realized he has the upper hand in a given situation, and there's this like swelling, piercing, like almost screech playing as it's building up. Fucking love that little bit of sound. It happens in the interrogation room whenever he's like, well, depending where he is, depending what time it is, it could be in one place or in several.
Oh God, I think it's also like whenever Gordon takes the shot for the, I don't know, whoever that guy is, like whenever in the street, it's like ready, aim, fire, and like shoot, like the tension building is so good, and
also fascinating. What I've thought about this multiple times. Is it just in the moment that he decides, in the moment that he takes that bullet for the mayor, is that when he's like, I should fake my death? Or were they fully prepared for that?
I think they were planning that. Had to be.
Ooh.
He then would have had to have some kind of bulletproof thing, and whoever doctor took him had to be in on it to declare him dead.
Right.
Like, must have been. When I was watching, I should have watched a little more closely if there was some kind of indication that he and Batman were planning that, but Harvey didn't know about it, so it must have been just like Batman and Gordon.
I don't even know that Batman's in on it.
I don't know.
No,
because like
someone had to help him.
How's Gordon gonna know where the shot's gonna come from?
That's my thing. Is that like he had to have been fully prepared to take a bullet from any direction. That's the thing. Is that if they're like, I think it's like a contingency. He's like, if I can, I'm going to take the bullet for the mayor and fake my death.
I mean, fair enough. People are dropping like flies.
I guess no one realized that Joker and all his men were in the line of, the 21 gun salute or whatever, which, I mean, I didn't even realize until a couple watches that I'd done that Joker is in that scene as Heath Ledger with that makeup. Mm-hmm. I guess no one realized that this man with all these scars on his face is in this lineup.
Right. Yeah, it's always an interesting scene to me because I don't know if it's a matter of just storytelling convenience or if there is a genuine.
I think it's more storytelling convenience for sure. Like, there might
because
have been
like I also
intent,
question what Gordon is able to do
when
because he faked his death.
A death happened, so no one else had to die. You know, like no one actually died. Because the Joker is going to kill someone every day.
Right. And that's his plan, right? He doesn't really care who dies. It's that someone is going to die.
That's fair. Okay, I hadn't considered that, but yeah, no, it's wild. It's a very, very, very good movie, man. Like I don't think I've ever given it the credit it's necessarily due. I think I watched this for the first time 5 years ago. I was 18. That was the first time I ever watched this.
Oh wow, okay.
I remember I was down at college. I was at Mizzou, and it was on Netflix or something. And Tillman really wanted to watch it, and I was like, "Yeah, I've actually never seen it." And he was like, "Well, then we are definitely fucking watching it."
Yeah, he probably looked at you instantly, like, "Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes, that whole thing." Obviously, I was very familiar with a lot of the most iconic scenes and all that, but yeah, no, I was very instantly taken. You know, I was very instantly like, "Wow, that's a really good fucking movie." But it was there was still some sort of hesitation on my part for something, for some reason. But I no longer have any of that. Like the longer I've sat with this movie, the more I've become familiar with Christopher Nolan as a filmmaker, and I'm amazed by how well done this movie is. You know, there's very little doubt that it's one of the best, if not the best, comic book movie of all time. It was actually the first comic book movie to ever cross $1 billion at the box office.
I saw that. That's crazy, and that makes sense. Like, this is an everybody kind of movie. Like, you don't have to enjoy comic books even at, like, I think you could show this to like a grandma, and like even like grandmas would still be chill with The Dark Knight. Like, I don't know, like maybe not.
That Joker, I don't like him.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I went a little too far, but no, this is, it's just an all-time performance, you know. And we were talking like the film and movie at the same time. Like, this is without a doubt. It's hitting all those boxes. Like, it is surprisingly like more campy than the new Batman. I feel like I feel like people thought of The Dark Knight as like the realistic showing of Batman, and like what it would be like in the real world, real gritty. That's why people love it. And then like this new one comes out, and I'm like, this feels more real. There are some campiness like to it, but like, I don't know, this feels way more like in that comic book vein, even more than the Batman to me. Yeah. But at the same time, it is just a very well made movie with very compelling story arcs, minus Rachel probably. But for every other character, I mean, the story arcs are insane. Like, Harvey's is undeniable. Joker's is undeniable. I think I'm coming around on Bruce and Batman. A lot of Bruce's stories is things that are like aren't in the forefront. It's things that you have to like kind of realize that he's doing, like saving the guy who was going to rat him out, and you know that everyone's trying to, you know, and like it is an active hero, but like he's actively doing it to the people who want to shut him down and stop him. Things like that. So
well, and he's facing a really interesting conflict throughout the movie. The idea that he thinks he's finally found his way out. Like, Harvey Dent is the guy that is going to make me not have to be Batman anymore. And to watch him have to watch that stop being the case, like the descent into madness that Harvey Dent has. That first, you know, I talked about him flipping the coin and him catching it and being like, well, not exactly, you know, like even in that moment though, there's something in Bruce going like, maybe this isn't the fucking guy, you know, like, like shit. You know, I thought this was all good and well, and I think it still could be, but it's fascinating to watch him have his hopes kind of torn from him. And it's fascinating to watch Michael Caine's Alfred kind of do this flip-floppy thing where, like, in Rises, he's, like, begging him to stop being Batman, basically. Yeah. But in this one, he's like, they need Batman.
More of a reason. Like, this is why Batman is needed. Like, the no-face is important so that the city can blame the symbol, and not Harvey Dent, and not that. And it's, I mean, Michael Caine and Alfred is always a treat.
Always on point.
I always do like that. I feel like we're not forgetting a character, right? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we've.
No, I think we kind of touched on every little
for some
character
reason,
in
I
the
feel
movie.
like there's just someone I'm free. Yes, there was. For a brief moment at the very beginning, we had Oppenheimer himself. We had Cillian Murphy.
I forgot that he was
Scarecrow.
Not my diagnosis. One of the best lines in the movie.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
not him.
Himself. He's like, I'm putting Cillian Murphy in a movie. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was in Batman
he's-
Begins. He was Scarecrow,
yeah.
He, like.
I love him, Scarecrow.
So yeah, I mean, it was.
I love that he's in every Dark Knight movie. He's also in Rises as the judge in Bane's society.
My God, that's right. I'm like, wait,
So
how is
good.
he in Rises? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's the one who abides by every court hearing and is like, you can either die or go into the frozen lake.
You can either die or die. So
Yeah,
what do you
up
want
to
to
you.
do?
No, I love that he's always playing it with this like funny, like stupefied energy. Like I love one of my favorite. I mean, that opening sequence where there's this thing with Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow where like he very obviously wants to fuck the Batman. That's something that Christopher Nolan gets like down pat, is that the villains want to have sex with Batman.
Oh my God, Joker too.
Oh,
Joker too. Yeah, they all do.
Me. I'll kill you. I don't want to kill you. Yeah, like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like that,
right.
that point whenever, he's like, what's the difference between you and me? What are you? I don't need help. I'm not wearing hockey pads. And he's like, he's like, I don't need help. And Cillian, he tips his head back and he goes, it's not my diagnosis. He's like, what's up, sexy? It's.
Yeah, he's got it for him. That's for sure. I didn't realize
Something
that
Bane doesn't have in the next one. But that's
Bane doesn't really want to fuck the Bat.
No,
that's true.
Bane's
why it's not a big thing.
He's got a higher purpose,
Yeah, he's got a lot else on his mind. But yeah, the Joker, even the Joker, he's about it.
No, and I mean, like, there's that moment whenever the fake Batman pulls up and he like fires a shotgun, and the first one to say something to Scarecrow, he goes, "That's not him." Like he's like, "I know him better than that." Yeah.
We've been going at it for a little bit now. That he's not the gun kind of guy. Yeah, no, that I don't know. I got to call him on one part though. Being the world's greatest detective and all. He jumps on the side of a car where Scarecrow is driving. He thinks his best course of action is cutting through the entire side of the car to get into it, instead of just punching the fuck out of the window that's right there and swinging in. Maybe he's too big to fit in the window and he knows that.
Maybe,
I don't know. But
that moment whenever he steps up to the ramp though and then like jumps down, hard as fuck every time.
Yeah, it's all quiet and you're like, it's all quiet, and then you hear the car, like the wheels. Yeah, somehow the car stops instantly. He's that heavy that it stops. That's not how physics really work. I mean, you gotta be. He's gotta be.
Maybe he hears something, slams the brakes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for the stunt, they had to have the guy land on the car, so like they needed to stop the car.
Yeah,
but
they need to stop the car.
No. There's the stunts in this were sick as hell. Every stunt was awesome. Thinking of like the other fight sequences, like even whenever he has like that whatever vision, the sonar vision with all the phones and stuff, and he's like going through that skyscraper that Joker's in, fighting all the tying up all the SWAT guys or the police officers to get them hang off the building, but saving all the other people at the same time. And meanwhile, he throws just dogs down the elevator or like down just a hole. He's like, fuck these dogs. He's like, I've been bitten too many times. Like these dogs fucking suck. So I see him there. I don't.
No kill rule does not apply to animals.
Yeah. I guess not. Yeah, not there. But no, that last scene though, where like the camera it's spinning, not like around, but like it's Joker's upside down at first, and then he's right side up at
that was
end.
One on the big screen that I was like,
whoa. Like, come on, all you need is
that shit.
Little push, and the fact that he is laughing hysterically when he is like thinking he's plummeting to his death, like he's falling, like he doesn't know.
I won, I got his ass.
Yeah, like he doesn't know he's about to get the perfect grappling shot on the ankle. Like what a shot, Batman. He's got that. But
yeah,
no,
that's one thing I appreciate Robert Pattinson's Batman for with his grappling hook. He doesn't like wrap it around people. Like there's that moment where he straight up shoots it through a dude's leg, and he's like, "That's it," like because that's more like that is how that would go. Like it's not like the odds that you wrap someone up with a grappling hook are near impossible. So, I love that
it's
idea.
a billionaire grappling hook. Okay, we don't know what kind of technology
we don't know what
Lucius
he's got
is working up in the lab, dude. Lucius
somehow it's hooked up everyone's cell phone to his tower, so which is
the cool. At least they did the little scene of like enter your name whenever it's done, so like it's destroyed. At least it was like he was playing.
He's like, I know this isn't right.
He's like, but I am Batman, and like I do break the law every night. This is more of like an ethical law, I guess, in his eyes.
Thinking about when this movie came out in 2008, I'm thinking that's when like the Edward Snowden NSA stuff started coming out. So that is probably.
Patriot Act, yeah, is that the good old
information leakage and such. It's
well, that was 2001. No, not that.
Well, yeah, that would have been after 9/11, but
freedom of
Snowden, I think, was around 2008 because he was like the whistleblower.
Wow, yeah, I didn't think about that. It's
a fascinating little angle to take this movie where like, and it furthers that, once you've seen this movie, you kind of lose sight of the fact that they're originally trying to tease that Bruce might give in too. Like obviously after you've seen this movie several times, that he's Batman. Like that's something he's not going to do. But the first time you're watching this movie, there is a little bit of like, is he gonna go the way of abandoning his principles and doing all that? Like it's really, really interesting. And I think that they do a lot of interesting character work with Bruce, a lot more than I've ever given it credit for. But Claire, we've been neglecting the favorites here. What are you feeling? What are you feeling for your favorite scene?
You got the whole
favorite
board.
Scene. This is one of my favorite scenes in any movie, and it's kind of cheesy, but I love the scene on the boats with the criminals, where the one criminal stands up and says, no one wants to pull the trigger. Give it to me, and I'll do what you should have done 10 minutes ago, and he throws it out the window. That's always been one of my favorites.
It's my favorite line.
That's a great line.
It's fantastic because everyone's like, oh, this guy's gonna do it, isn't he? Look at him.
Right. I know.
I fucking love it.
Even the civilian boat where they all voted, and even then they're like, no, we can't. Like can't do it. And
they had their chance. They chose to murder and steal. That was the second one. I was like, okay.
Okay. Murdering, steal. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Corrupt. Gotham is all about the money. So
yeah,
it is an interesting moral dilemma. It's the good old classic train track situation. But even even more equal. It's just how do you value a boat full of families versus a boat full of prisoners? And who knows? Maybe you turn that key. I swear, you turn that key, your own boat goes.
I've never thought of that before. That is such a great point. That's exactly what happened.
He told them the wrong address, for Harvey and Rachel. He's playing with everybody the whole time. It's either both of them go or your own ship goes.
Right. I think you blow up your own boat.
I
think that's what happens.
I think maybe that's just how the explosives are on that ship as well. Sort of thing would be really impressive. If I don't know how detonators, I guess I don't really know how that works and all. If it's like Bluetooth, it's like a little key that they just turn. So usually it's like a phone call. He does call someone and then blow a dude's stomach up in the GCPD. So a phone call can do it, but that's not a phone. Yeah, I guess I'm getting into the semantics of how explosives work now.
I feel like I don't think that we should Google how do detonators work, but
we had this with Fight Club a couple weeks back. It was a funny little thing where Joseph was looking into if this concoction actually creates a bomb.
It was like orange juice, frozen orange juice, and something. And I start to Google it. And
Really?
I was expecting the autofill to be like make a bomb, but like everyone tried to Google it, not a bomb. It was like go boom, or is this a bad combination, or like you could see everyone's trying to Google carefully. But it's like, I mean, I don't think
so
you're
fucking
really
funny.
Yeah, I think 13-year-olds Google how to make bombs all the time, probably,
Yeah.
you know, like everywhere all over the world. So I don't think it really matters. But
No, but that scene is, I mean, it's the
Mm.
heart of the movie, you know, like that's, it's everything that the movie is kind of building towards and trying in that effort to prove Joker wrong. And it kind of, it's interesting. Christopher Nolan is often accused of being a conservative filmmaker, like in terms of like political leanings. Like there's stuff that like every once in a while bleeds through as a little bit, you know, like he's very propagandic at a lot of points in the Dark Knight trilogy and all that sort of stuff. But this is one of the more interesting ethical principles that he's clearly taking the right stance on, where the life of a prisoner is every bit as valuable as the life of anybody else. And that's the point they're proving by that scene, is that everybody should, in the end, if you're faced with that dilemma, see the value of human life as the value of human life, regardless of whether you're locked behind bars or you're free on the outside.
now,
And
if
I
this
love that choice.
happens in real life, it's a good question on how your faith in humanity, you know, is like, where's your current faith in humanity? If we were given this situation right now,
no fucking shot.
Right now, probably, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
2008, maybe not.
2000, yeah.
You think?
Well,
think?
because it's just, I don't know how much different and how much humans have changed, but I do think the access to social media and just, first of all, seeing everything that's happening in the world and also being able to ignore everything that's happening in the world, I think has made us a little bit crazy.
I swear there'd be somebody on that boat that'd be like, I'm gonna get this on TikTok, you know, I'm gonna be the one to turn the key. Like they'd be like, oh, I want to do it. Like I want to be the one that's known that did, you know, and then their boat blows up the whole time.
No, and I think that there's just a volatility.
Like a bomb squad to like check this out, like how they even rigged this up. No one can like dismantle this. Like we're just gonna take, okay, but it is. I love also that Batman is so confident that they're not going to blow each other up. I don't know what makes him confident in that, truly, but he is.
He's just got to have faith, you know?
He's definitely hoping he's right. Yeah. The clock just getting closer and closer to midnight, you know, like that's, anytime there's a clock in a movie and it's like slow, like you know, a countdown, love that.
I love when the boats don't blow up at midnight and Joker like, you know, like he's genuinely surprised. He's like, you see, not everyone's like you. You know, I love that shit. It's classic superhero, good guy versus bad guy stuff. And I'm a sucker for it, man.
Just an absolute.
But yeah, my favorite line was definitely "Give it to me, and I'll do what you should have did 10 minutes ago." One of my favorites.
I don't know who that background actor is, but I hope he's had a
in something.
Career.
He's in Friday.
Friday?
You unfamiliar with Friday? Friday's a great fucking movie. Ice Cube and
That's
Wesley,
what it is.
Chris Tucker.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know it by the title, but now that I'm, damn. Okay,
it's Debo.
Yeah, got it now. But okay, I thought I recognized him from somewhere else.
Died a couple years back. R.I.P. My man Tom Lister Jr.
Even the guy that Harvey takes in the ambulance and has Rachel's name tag and he's threatening to kill.
That's David Dasmalchian.
Yeah, Polka Dot Man
and
Suicide Squad. What else has he been in recently?
Oppenheimer.
I was gonna. Yes, he was. I don't remember who he was. So many people, but yes,
he's one of the. He's the dude who ends up filing the formal charges against Oppenheimer and is like working with Robert Downey Jr.
That's right.
That swirly kind of look about him.
Yeah. No, like if you've seen David Dasmalchian, you've seen David Dasmalchian. You'll never forget what that fucking guy looks like. You know. He actually wrote a comic run a couple years back that I really, really liked. It was called Count Crowley. It was like this pulpy 80s horror comic that he did just a couple years ago. It's fucking great. I liked it a lot. But he's an interesting cat, and he does a lot of interesting work. And to see him kind of joining the Christopher Nolan lexicon.
The squad. Yeah.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. And they seem to have their actors they go back to. Got Killian in every Batman movie.
Yeah, it looks like he was also in Dune. I forgot about that.
Okay.
He was the voice of the little blob in Quantumania that's like my juice, my
yes, drink my goo and understand
my
everybody,
whatever.
That guy? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. He's got a repertoire on him.
Quite the filmography on this man. Yeah, no, I've always enjoyed David Dastmalchian. Oh yeah, Ant-Man.
Character.
He's in the Ant-Man movies. He's one of Ant-Man's best friends, one of the ex-cons who works with him. Yeah. No, dude's everywhere. Dude's all over superhero movies. He likes those a lot. But
switching my character from Heath Ledger as the Joker to
David Dastmalchian as the guy.
Given a character name in the movie. He's probably.
I think he is.
You think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he says Batman says his name at one point. He's credited as Joker's thug.
That's right. He does. Yeah, he comes up to him and he's like, he tells him his whole thing. Like, are you really expecting to get anything out of him? Okay, fair enough. Yeah. But no, I'm obviously kidding.
Thomas Schiff. That's what it is.
Thomas Schiff. I don't know if he stacks up to the Joker.
Probably not.
But not for me this watch.
Oh yeah, wonderful actor. I like him a lot. But yeah, that's a good scene. I believe me and Joe have already gone over our scenes as well. How about we do? Let's talk about your character and performance. I don't think we've officially nailed down where you fell there.
No. So I'm gonna have to say also Harvey Dent is my favorite character.
Booyah.
For the art, I just can't say the Joker's my favorite character because he is a terrible person. But I don't think that there's any question about performance. It's gonna have to be Heath Ledger.
Queen sweep.
Yeah. And see, he is insane, and I know that. And that's what makes me love his character even more. It's like I'm in a movie, it's movie time. Obviously I know I'm not going to go in my spare time and buy a bunch of gasoline and guns and ammo and all this stuff and start a civil war in a city, basically. But whenever I can think about, like, put myself in that mindset, I don't know why. I'm a big fan of that for some reason. And
it's a fascinating character, dude. I think that I mean Heath Ledger is just hands down. I wanted to approach this from a place of it's crazy how much Aaron Eckhart gets like overshadowed in this movie because he puts on one of the best comic book villain performances of all time.
Good, yeah, like it's insanely good.
It's just you're in a movie with one of the best comic book performances of all time. Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to give anybody else credit. It's just so fucking good. I'm with you there.
Do Joker, as we said, this way. Like, it wasn't like now where there's like 17 different live action Jokers. He was really, besides Jack Nicholson, who was very, very different. Everything after him kind of feels derivative, whether or not that's warranted or not.
I wonder where he got his inspiration from. Like where, like
well,
if Nolan was like,
it's like, what would it be like to be a character?
I wonder if like how much Nolan was a factor in it, or if it was just like.
No, I don't think that's Christopher Nolan, honestly.
Yeah,
I think Christopher Nolan's interpretation of other comic book villains in this series is not as good as this. Like, I don't. In the next one, again, when we talk about that, like Poison Ivy in the next one, are you kidding? That's your interpretation of that character. So I don't know. It was mostly Heath Ledger.
Yeah, got to give the man props. I mean, I'm trying to think of another single movie performance. In any comic book movie, the
closest you ever get to something that's this good is, Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man.
Oh, that's.
I was gonna say maybe Hugh Jackman and Logan. It's
pretty
been a
strong.
while since I've gone there, but
I was even gonna say Tom Hiddleston as Loki is probably the best in the MCU.
Recent.
I would agree.
Yes. I like that. But
Gene Hackman in Superman 78, pretty fucking strong. But again, we're naming a bunch of people that could be second. None of them am I going, you know what? Yeah, that stacks up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't. In fact, what's insane
might be Harvey
is
Dent.
second might be Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent. Like, that's
yeah, like
you're right.
that's kind of insane that the two.
Yeah, I think that might be fair.
Like, undoubtedly, number one is coming from this movie, but maybe 1 and 2 come from this
nuts,
movie.
man. That's nuts.
Fascinating.
Yeah, no, and I would agree that I think that it is because of Heath Ledger that this villain is elevated to the stratosphere that it's reached. You know, I think that I love Cillian Murphy as the Scarecrow. I Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, sure, but they're not as memorable. They're not as good. And Tom Hardy's Bane certainly left an impression, but I think a part of that is that it's the sequel to a $1 billion film.
That's fair.
And it's the next installment, and he's doing a memorable voice, and that's why people remember that. You know, like
the darkness. Yeah, it's like there's like I don't know.
Born in the darkness.
There's some things you remember about Bane, but like I almost remember like every scene that Joker is in. You know, like every line that this dude says. Like, I know. Yeah, like
speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Yeah, no, I enjoy Heath Ledger's Joker on a different level, and I know that's like it's not a new take. There's nothing we can say that hasn't been said about Heath Ledger's Joker. It just deserves all the praise it gets. You know, like that's the bottom line. I think that he's just a special actor.
Even when I'm trying to actively spread the love and like think of the other characters while I'm watching this, it's like it's just impossible. Like the dude just has it on him like that. And I think I was actually going to go with the interrogation, him interrogating, but like I think him and Harvey in the hospital is actually like I love that scene so much. Like
introduce a little anarchy.
One thing that I can't believe is. He's walking around in the nurse's outfit. He has a mask on. And Harvey's, just like oblivious or whatever. He takes the mask off and he's like, oh my God, it's the fucking Joker. Oh man, but I'm so pissed. It's like, really? You didn't see that was the joke. I mean.
Yeah, that's funny.
I guess he's on a lot of drugs probably. He just got half his body burnt. So I'll give him some leeway. But man.
No, he's not on drugs actually. He refused all of the treatments. So.
Oh. Okay.
You refused all of, and everyone always likes to say that. Like everyone, like that's a comment. Like, oh, he's all drugged up. He's in the hospital. No, he's not. He literally refused every single.
He's in agonized pain. That's what Gordon says.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, this got some Oscar love.
I didn't actually know.
Heath Ledger won Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars for this role. He's the only actor to have won it posthumously. It also won Best Achievement in Sound Editing. Those are the only two it won. It was also nominated for Cinematography. It was nominated for Editing, nominated for Art Direction, nominated for Makeup. Kind of crazy it didn't win. Nominated for Sound Mixing and nominated for Visual Effects. So,
the fact that he won the Oscar for this, that is so... I know that now there is another actor who has won for Joker, but like at that time, to have won when movie is nominated for nothing else really of significance. Not that the other ones
in terms of performances, yeah, exactly. Like wasn't nominated for screenplay or adapted screenplay. Wasn't nominated for direction. Wasn't nominated for picture. Like
I was about to say, like I wonder if it was because he died and like if
I think
if like, that added anything into it. I'm looking at the other nominations. I don't.
Who else was nominated that year?
Michael Shannon as Revolutionary Road. Okay. Or that's the movie. Sorry, the movie's Revolutionary Road. Whatever Michael Shannon plays. Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
That got an Oscar nom?
No way.
Josh Brolin in Milk, and Philip Seymour Hoffman in Doubt. I have never seen any of them other than Tropic Thunder. And I can't believe that Robert Downey Jr. is on there for Tropic Thunder.
That's hilarious.
He obviously it is not because he died that he got that award. He got that award because he's better than every single one of those nominations combined.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in Tropic Thunder is impressive.
But
But it's
like,
you wouldn't really award
it's
that
just
nowadays.
blackface. That's the
Yeah.
thing. He's acting black the whole fucking time. So
Year
he's
for Robert
acting
Downey
like
Jr.
what's that?
I didn't realize that was 2008 because that's when Iron Man premiered too,
Yeah,
right?
same year.
What a year for him.
Robert Downey Jr. gets an Oscar nom in the year that Iron Man came out, and it's not for Iron Man, and that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, no, but he was the first actor to win an Oscar for playing the role of Joker. Joaquin Phoenix did win Best Actor in a Leading Role about 10 years later for Joker, and that movie got a bunch of love, warranted or unwarranted. We can talk about that when that movie rolls around. But yeah, no, I'd take this movie over Joker 15 times out of 10.
I have not seen the Joker movie because it just doesn't
don't
seem
get
like
me.
my thing. I was actually gonna watch it in preparation for this, but I didn't have time. So I'll have to take.
I mean, you're more than welcome to come on for the Joker episode. I mean, that'll probably be like a year and a half from now, but you know,
Yeah, in 3 years when we get to 2019's movies.
Exactly. Got a ways to go. Thinking that 2024, we're going to try and blitz it a little bit anytime we can. Go ahead and double up in a week. Try and cut the project time in half if we can. But yeah, no.
March 2025. The Flash. That is where the Flash
Not a real
is.
year. That's not real.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's just
So
the Flash.
it would be late 2024. It'll be at the end of next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that's when we planned this one. Was late last year. So
yeah, exactly. You know, we did Batman and Robin at the end of 2022 in terms of recording
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so
before.
That's crazy. No, this isn't the first episode of this podcast that has been spent talking about The Dark Knight. Early on in its run, me and Tavares attempted the Batman binge, and we watched Batman and Robin and then the Dark Knight trilogy, and that was all we did. But that episode was episode 59, so over 400 episodes ago.
A while ago.
We talked about the Dark Knight almost to the day too. I believe it was November 23rd, 2020 would be my guess.
10 days away. Kind of nuts.
Yeah,
it's just the Batman. The fall is a time to watch Batman.
It is indeed.
That's what I've learned. My new Halloween movie is The Batman, and I watched it too prematurely. Thursday, I could not wait until Halloween. Yeah, like I literally watched it like 3 days before Halloween because I'm like, I can't wait. And then I watched it again last night. I caved. I watched both. I watched The Dark Knight and The Batman. The sleep schedule is very fucked up anyways, and I was going to be up, and I'm like,
you did end up doing both.
Yeah, my sleep schedule is non-existent right now. So I was like, if I'm gonna be up, not. So I got both of them in here, and I can still confidently say after watching both of them back to back, this one is I still put it above. The Dark Knight is above the Batman.
I will say this: I've finally arrived in a place where I could probably tell you that this one is better than the Batman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of in denial about that for a long time. I still enjoy the Batman more, but I can say confidently that I do believe this is a better movie.
They're so close, though. I mean, it's 9.
No, it's 1A, 1B. I would say.
But it's also the thing of you can't not compare the Batman to this one because almost any Batman after this feels, like I said, a little derivative. Because this feels like such a shining example of Batman.
Exactly, and it's not a slight on any Batman. Like the fact that Matt Reeves was able to create something that doesn't feel like it's trying its hardest to be the Dark Knight, which I feel like you find stuff is a little guilty of that across a lot of comic book movies. I think it's impressive, you know. I think that trying to take it in an original direction again was a wise choice. But we've still got line and shot for you, Claire. How about a line from you? What's your favorite line?
Oh my god, this is so nerdy, but this is a line. There's a lot of amazing lines in this movie. This is a line that I actually say in my everyday life, so much so that my friend got it embroidered for me on a pillow.
Oh.
It is
Oh
I
my
hear
god.
or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I love that.
I say that all the time, so that is my favorite line of this movie.
I love it. That's fantastic. I love that you had the pillow at the ready and
That's
everything.
incredible.
You came prepped.
You
That's
can't see it, but I
outstanding.
have, which is a great gift. I mean, look how nice this is.
No, that's
That
a fantastic
Like,
pillow. I
where did
love
you
it.
find it? But also, why
Wow.
do I say that so much?
That was an instant thought for me.
Are you thinking that you might go on a villain arc at some point in your life? Do you think a
Me?
villain arc
I
is
don't. I'm trying
The
not
people
to.
around her,
Mm.
someone does something fucked up, and it's like, well,
Yeah,
you
no.
either die here or live long enough to become that.
You used to be cool. I don't know what happened.
I get that. No, that's fucking fantastic. It's a great quote to go with too. That's one of the more iconic ones from this movie. One of those ones where when I watched it for the first time 5 years ago, I was like, hold the fucking phone. Is that where this is from? Like, that's the origin of that quote. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also always forget that Harvey says it. Like, it feels like an Alfred line, but it's actually a Harvey line.
And it makes a lot more sense for Harvey to say it too. Very, very telling line there.
Foreshadow.
But I believe that
shot
brings us to shot.
I guess true. It just reminded me of a shot of him dead whenever it's him and Batman laying next to each
roll him
other.
over.
Like, oh man. Yeah.
That's great.
But anyways, that's not, I didn't just steal your thunder for your shot, right? That's not your favorite shot in the movie? Okay. I didn't want to
No, my
steal the
favorite
thunder.
shot is the vertical truck.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, you did say that.
You did
Hello.
say it.
Duh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The good old
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, my favorite shot was one that came in. Like, I've always liked it, but when I everything's better in a movie theater on the giant fucking screen. Everything you like more, and the things you didn't know you liked, you all of a sudden do. The after Rachel and Harvey have been blown up, and right before we cut to Bruce standing over the rubble, we get my favorite shot of the movie, which is Joker sticking his head out of the cop car as it like fishtails down the road.
Right.
Fucking love that. It is so goddamn pretty.
Yeah, it's one of the alternate covers to the DVD too, I think.
Yes, it's the I have the letterboxed where you can change the posters, and I picked that one.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so dearly. But it's I mean, like, I got chills when I saw it on the big screen. I was like, oh god, that's so fucking cool.
And like the sound cuts out too.
Yeah,
it's like
and it's silent, and all you hear the
oh man,
you can like hear the car swerving back and forth.
So beautiful. That like this, it's crazy how many like good scenes that you can pick. Like, it is just the whole movie though. I mean, it's like the movie's good, and then it has like multiple climaxes throughout the whole thing. Like the Rachel and Harvey like blowing, like that's a crazy moment, and then like you like the fairy moment. I feel like is the biggest climax of the movie of like proving Joker wrong. But then you have him blowing up a hospital. You have Gordon, sacrificing himself. You have a triple assassination attempt. Like
another iconic actual thing they did was blowing up an entire building.
They really blow that up.
And
him
messing it up.
And the thing didn't work, right?
That's one take.
That's
like they had to do it. Like the thing in the background, the secondary explosion, they added that so it looked a little more real, but like the big wide shot of them blowing up the hospital is that's
a real thing. Yeah, that actually
blew that shit up. Yeah, like that's
it's
incredible. Heath Ledger just like it actually like something went wrong with the explosives and like it didn't go off as they thought it would, and like he just improvised that. Like luckily, because that's one take. You're not getting another take of you blowing up a hospital. That's a one and done. But I loved
him like
that.
turning around, being like.
Another shot contender was Lau sitting up on the just mountain of cash burning. The shot, I wanted it just because the absolute dime he throws with a stack of cash just hits Lau right in the face, man. I don't know, it makes me laugh every time I see it.
When he jumps and slides down the pile of money, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
That's another great scene too, because you're like, oh, you're like, there's no reason for him to do this.
You
It's
see
the
his
chaos.
motives. Yeah, you see
So
his
good.
motives. There are none, really. It's just
Whenever the
pure-
guys pull up with him in a body bag, and they all hop out, and my father
How about alive? Yeah, he
was a
is that how he
drinker,
pops up? Yeah.
and one day, no, dude, let's put a smile on that face. Fucking love,
I
fucking.
thought there were
love
more
that.
stories he had made up about his scars. I think there's only 2, right? It's
think
that
there's
and the
only
white.
two.
Father was a drinker. He took the knife to my mouth. Did it.
He's
I had a
about
wife,
to tell the story
like you.
again when he pushes him off the building. I think.
That's another great line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know how I got these scars? No, but I know how you got these.
Yeah.
Another great
I know how you got these. Yeah. Every comeback Batman has is pretty good. But yeah, that. Oh, what? Which one was it? Oh, dang it! I had some Joker moment that I had in my head. It's escaped me. But
There's a lot, man. The dudes.
There's too many. That's
I mean, of course, one that we've talked about a lot that I don't think we've talked about at all here is, you think you could just steal from us and walk away? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking love that. It's one of my favorite line deliveries of all time.
I almost did go with that, but I didn't know if that was like if you guys felt the same. Like, there's so many lines that it's just funny. Like, I don't know. Like, every time it comes up, I love it.
Maybe you should add favorite line delivery too.
Right, exactly. Because that'd be a fucking winner here. You think you could just steal from us and walk away? Yeah. It was hilarious. Here. So when we went to the theater a couple months back, it was Emily's first time ever watching The Dark Knight. She'd never seen it.
In the theater was that's
yeah. So I was like, I asked her on the way. I was like, "Have we ever watched this?" I was like, "I don't think we've ever watched this series." She's like, "No, I've never seen it." And I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, this is perfect." And there are a lot of moments that struck me as so much funnier than they've ever been before. There's one moment that's like not that funny, but for some reason, me, like, as soon as it happened, me and Emily both like we looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, it's whenever they've got the truck parked there and the dude walks up and is like, hey, you can't park here. And then Joker like swings to the front and shoots him. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just so sudden that it is so fucking funny.
It's not funny, but it is in the movie. It is so funny. I have the same feeling. Like, me and my brother, like, that's just a moment we laugh at, because I'm pretty sure it
never made me laugh before, but like I was like, oh, I don't know why hilarious. I thought it was, dude.
No, it's hilarious, and every time you watch it now, it only kind of gets funnier because you know it's coming and how quick it is. Like, he's in the passenger seat just hiding or something, and he just whoosh boom and like just like goddamn, like that poor cop, I usually don't really care about cops, but like he was just
that
like,
one was funny, man.
Can't park here, dude.
And I love the chaos imagery, like whenever they are exporting Harvey Dent, and that's a whole, like, the fact that we could talk about this movie for another fucking hour if we wanted to, but like Harvey taking credit for being Batman and knowing that he's going to do the right thing, and like wonderful, amazing scene. One of the reasons I go with Harvey Dent for my favorite character is because of his faith in Batman and the fact that he does staunchly believe in him as an idea. But when they're transporting him and they have to divert to the tunnel and there's a fire truck on fire and that's what's blocking it, I was like, you know what? Fuck yeah. I was like, that's the shit right there. Just him being like anarchy, chaos, fire truck on fire.
Loved it.
That tickled him too. He laughed about that.
Oh yeah, he's like, this will really get them.
He rides Slaughter, on the semi truck that flips. He's like, he's shooting. He has like an automatic pistol. Then he has like a machine gun. And it's like, so he's gonna have to have something a whole lot bigger to break through this. And then just pulls up a whole rocket launcher. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, this dude, he's got it like that.
I love how every extra in this movie, or not extra, but every one-line actor in this movie, they fucking go for it every chance they get, bro. No more dead cops! That thing fucking kills me every time.
Yeah, yeah, and everyone's screaming.
That one where he's like, that's not good. When the helicopter's going down, he's like, that's not good. oh, that's not good. I think it's so funny. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just that.
I think it's because everyone's just like hyped to be in this movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I guess
No,
they
it's
didn't know.
fucking outstanding.
Yeah, it is weird to think about, but like, imagine being like, do you think they knew while they were filming that this was gonna go as hard as it did? You know,
I
like,
mean,
I think
that's
when you
always the
see
interesting thing about movie
like
making, man.
post, they were like, I mean, we're just having a good time. Like, I think the lead performers generally set the tone for what it's like on set, and I think probably Heath Ledger's set are really exciting, really
that would be
interesting, really
so
fun
much
film.
fun. That'd be a
There's
fun
also
ass
that,
movie to make with him. Yeah.
yeah. There's also that in that scene with like the getting Harvey Dent out of the car goes to my favorite behind the scenes picture, which is Heath Ledger on the skateboard.
Oh,
You ever seen
kickflipping
that?
it? Yeah, mid
Yeah, keep
kickflip.
moving it over,
Oh,
because apparently the story behind that is like he came to set with no makeup on with a skateboard, and they're like, "Who's this fucking kid?" And they're like, "It's Heath Ledger."
that's the Joker. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I hate to do this.
Uh-oh.
I don't think that photo's real.
No.
Really? Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Looking.
There's whenever he jumps over Batman to the guy who just got zapped,
No.
it's from that moment when he's jumping
No.
over him
No.
from a different angle.
No.
I
My
wish
head
we had-
canon is not gonna believe this one. Heath Ledger is a cool fucking dude as the yeah, damn it. No?
No?
No. This looks pretty real.
Here's between the doctored viral.
Ah, damn it. God damn it.
I'm sorry, but I knew, and I couldn't be alone in this anymore.
Okay. It's partially true. He did skateboard between takes though. This
Okay.
is
Yeah,
a
he
true
brought his
story.
skateboard to the set.
He
I know
did
that's a
actually
story.
do that, but the photo is not real. Here is the original. Okay, so the original photo, it's literally that photo, but the
Him jumping over him without a skateboard.
the skateboard is the only thing, but it is behind the scenes. It is not like taken from the movie or photoshopped. The only thing that is photoshopped is the skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm thinking about it, he'd have to get some mad air to jump over Batman with that no ramp. Like he'd be
No, don't get me wrong. I love it, but I couldn't be alone.
No, that's fair. We had to be educated on that.
I had to share in my pain.
The superpower
Ledger's
that I
still
could
massive
forget
people.
selective memories. Do you see how great this superpower would be
Yes,
if you
I
could
do.
selectively
I've always
forget
understood.
things?
Oh my
I
God,
would-
absolutely.
Yeah, not to fly, not to have super strength. No, I want to forget.
Disability is useless.
Yeah, I want to forget whatever
Mind
I
control
want.
is where it's at.
What is?
Mind control.
I mean,
How
you
we
could
make
get any. I guess mind control. I could control your minds to make you. Well, no. I guess I would still. I could control my own mind if I had my. Okay, now we're getting.
Yeah, you're like,
now I'm
okay,
I'm
forget
too
it.
deep.
It's
But,
gone.
Yeah,
No, I fucking
Okay,
love this movie,
that's
man.
okay.
And I think that when it comes to the rating section of this podcast, it's probably going to destroy every other movie we've discussed for this project so far. Especially the ones we've discussed with you, Claire. I don't think you'd feel very differently about it. Batman and Robin and Batman Begins. Batman Begins was solid. As of right now, it's critically our highest rated.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
Yeah.
At a 9. Yeah.
Really?
A 9
Not even
is number
Spider-Man?
1.
Spider-Man, I think we gave an 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah, Spider-Man is a 8.7, or that's Superman. Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right
8.5.
now our top 5 in terms of overall rating. Once we've taken all the 4 separate things and amalgamated them, and our crazy fucking methods. We've got Superman at 1. Oh, and Spider-Man at 1, tied at 96%.
Mm-hmm.
Mask of Phantasm at 3 at 94. Spider-Man 2 at 89, and Batman Begins at 5 at 88. So.
Okay, well, yeah, I think it's gonna be a wash.
This is.
Got a feeling that
I'm gonna guess before we even do any that this will be the new king at the end of the day. It is
mostly because I think we're getting 3 10s and a 9.75.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, enjoyment wise, I don't as far as a comic book movie goes, I'm like, I turn into a little kid again when I watch this movie. Like, I'm literally like giggling to myself at some like Joker, you know, some just lines, or like I'm like, I feel like I need to memorize this movie. Like, I don't know of a movie experience that's quite like this. Like this is just a top 10 movie of all time, and if that's the case, like, I don't know what is more deserving of a 10 for enjoyment.
Yeah, no, I don't hesitate at all. What about you, Claire? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you enjoying this movie?
No matter how many times I watch this movie, I have the same level of enjoyment that I always have.
I agree. And as an action adventure movie, don't think you can get much better.
Wow. Yeah, I think
we're looking at another 10 there. As far as adaptation is concerned, it's taking it in an original direction, but it still maintains the spirit of Joker and Two-Face pretty staunchly, especially Batman, especially Jim Gordon. Jim Gordon is probably the most well-adapted he's ever been on screen in this movie.
I'd agree.
They even get the marital issues in there, which is wonderful. Critical to the character of Jim Gordon. He's got to be a pathetic, shitty husband.
Yes, absolutely. Terrible.
Good reasons. Okay. Terrible husband.
They got it all. Yeah, I guess adaptation would be the only thing that I mean, let's see. We gave Superman, Mask of Phantasm, Spider. I mean, it's kind of another one of those, like,
it becomes the same thing as what we discussed for Mask of Phantasm, where
it rewrites.
You know, when it redefines what these characters are and it's becomes like the standard. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that this is the gold standard of adaptation. I don't think that you get better than Joker and Two-Face in this movie.
No.
And even Batman.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that when a movie works this well and is this good, it does not have to be exactly on the money comic book accuracy. If you can adapt it and make it better, which I think this did, it's a 10, man. Like, and critically, it's pretty fucking good as well. How are you feeling about it on a scale of 1 to 10 there, Claire?
Critically, I think the only issue I have is the writing of Rachel's character.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking 9.5 for critical.
9.5. I dig it. I do. I'm not far off from you there, and that brings your rating to a 98%, which is near perfect, about as close to perfect as you can get. And I'm with you. I think that is my priority, like, concern when it comes to this movie.
If Rachel is perfectly casted and written well,
this movie is
What
might
other
be as
gripe,
close to perfect as we can get.
What other gripe is there? Like, I'm trying to think.
Maybe on first watch some of the plot is a little confusing. It might be a
little
bit
lot.
dense.
You know, like, it is a lot. It can be.
There are some things that, like with the Gordon thing, we weren't sure if he meant
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. And mostly, I would more than anything, I would kind of poke that as like a logic thing more than like a. I guess that is a little bit of a writing thing, because I remember the first time I watched this, I was like, Gordon came up and I was like, wasn't this guy fucking dead? You know, like, I was like, what just happened here? You know, so I think there's a little bit of they're trusting the viewer a lot, you know, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. They're depending on you to understand what's happening and to, you know, keep up with it. And I think that that would still make it the best movie we've covered in this project, undoubtedly.
And our critical rating is different for comic book movies than it is for like regular movies, for film, I guess we could say.
But that's the thing, is that even so, you could compare this more staunchly to some of our director spotlight movies.
Like, this is actually deserving of a 9-something. Like,
100%.
Even outside of the comic book rating.
Well, that's the thing, is that when it comes to critical for the comic book stuff, we've been pretty good about maintaining a degree of sameness to the other stuff. It's more the enjoyment that comes in, and it's like, oh wait, we like those a lot. But I mean, we haven't been super randomly nice to movies. We've only given one a 9. You know, and that was the first installment in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, well, the floor is 9. And then you can automatically say it's better
My
made
floor
than
is
Batman
9.5.
Begins. Yeah, you can
Like
automatically
9.5
say
is as low as I'll go.
it's automatically better than Batman Begins. So then the floor is 9.25. And then you're like, is it just a little bit better?
No, it's
No.
much better
It
than
is
Batman
leagues
Begins.
better. So yeah, like it's not a 10, and I don't think you can ever give a 10.
We've never given anything a 10 critically because we don't.
That's
It doesn't exist. Doesn't
yeah,
exist.
that's,
There's nothing
I
that is
guess
a 10.
I guess there is technically a 10 out. There is something that is the best made. So, but who's to say what that is?
But 10
Yeah.
claims it to be perfect. I think that the best a movie could be would be like a 9.99.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair. But I mean, the gripes in this movie are so small.
They're minimal.
Arguably, Rachel should be a bigger part of the movie. It shouldn't be a small argument. But the Gordon thing, like,
no, yeah,
that's like
no,
yeah, no, that's
yeah,
exactly. That's like if you
like,
had to find something that was wrong
yeah,
with this movie.
you're really like,
if you're nitpicking, that's something you go to. You know?
I think we go 9.75 here. Like, I think it's like it is as close
It's
to
Budapest levels.
as you can get.
It's Oppenheimer levels. It's Irishman levels.
When you can make a comic book movie actually this good, and actually like the themes in the movie are not childlike themes. Like, you get the idea of good versus evil if you're a kid, but then you watch it as an adult, and you're met with all these moral and ethical dilemmas that, like, the Joker puts people in, and like it gets you to think about those things, and then it's like, you never like thinking like, oh, maybe this Joker's onto something, maybe he's right, but it's kind of like this Thanos thing where you're like, well, at least, it's not this pure evil that's killing to kill. At least there's some.
He has his own. He has his
sort of
own set of ideas.
Yeah, sort of thing. It doesn't make it better, but like it is this different vein. I think. I don't know. I don't think a movie can really. I don't know if I'm going 9.75 just because I know like every other movie that comes after this doesn't even really touch it. There are some that come close, but is 9.75?
Yeah, no, like I'm cool with the 9.5 or 9.75. So you are cool to decide there. If you want to go 9.75, that's fine with me.
Oh God. Well, if it's a 9.75, it's a 9.94. If it is a 9.5, it is a 9.88. So it'd still be a 99 on the two. Do we give room to grow? Is there a movie that is better made than The Dark Knight? Is
comic
Logan
book wise, I think there is only one argument.
Is it Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse, and maybe the Batman.
Almost a different thing though, because it's animated.
Yeah, it's different. It is.
It's a different, because you have different things to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to.
It's definitely a different set of. It's definitely a different set of tools, but ultimately, what we're getting across there in the end, I think as far as live action is concerned, The Dark Knight's the greatest greatest comic book movie of all time.
Why'd you put me in control of picking this number? I'm going back and forth. I think we should land on 9.75 though, because
I'm cool with that.
The gripes we do have, the negatives that we can say, Rachel's writing, and it's not terrible. It's just not to the level that everything else is at. And then Gordon's little lot, just a little
like the writing of Rachel would be perfectly suitable for like every other comic book movie.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'm chilling at a 9.75, which it raises it just it's still a 99% no matter what, but in my head I'll know it as a 99.4%.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that seems fair.
But that is the new king, without a doubt.
Man, it's not
overall.
close, man.
And if we're adding it to our own personal list too,
it's
yes,
one.
It follows the same as it did here.
Yeah, what's that make your new top 3 on the old Letterboxd comic book movie ranking here?
Get it on pulled up. I got Spider-Man 1 and Superman After the Dark Knight. Yeah, Dark Knight #1, Spider-Man 1, and then the classic Superman.
Yeah, no, I like my top 5 right now. It's 3 Batman movies, a Superman movie, and a Spider-Man movie. So
That's
you
fair.
got Dark Knight 1, Superman 2, Spider-Man 3, Phantasm 4, and Batman Begins 5. So it's
Yeah.
it's the big 3. Those are the 3 superheroes, you know. And it's been reflected in our project thus far.
I wish I could change these movie posters on Letterboxd. After seeing that, it for me. I don't use it enough to actually like warrant paying for it. But like just seeing that you have, like I want it. I want to change these posters so bad on Letterboxd.
It's always very satisfying. It also boosts your reviews, which helps a lot. That was my justification. I was like, it's for the podcast. Yeah. I just like aesthetics. So
it works.
Well,
might be able to write that off on your taxes.
Yeah, there you go.
If we get there.
Make this an official.
Yeah, I guess I am making
an official business expense. But
9.94. Bada bing, bada boom. There
99% on the old Bloom-o-meter. But yeah, man, that was another goodie in the books for us. And with that, we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom podcast. If you would, head to patreon.com/pennybloom-pod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of shit over there. Book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and the like. Me and Joe just had a conversation earlier this week about Loki season 2 and the Marvels, which I got to see earlier this week. And overall, very positive conversation over there. So for $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram at PennyBloomPodcast. Follow on Letterboxd at PennyBloomPod. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever it is that you might be listening. We have officially passed the mark. I checked in between recordings here. We've passed the goal for the downloads on the year. We did it. 10,531 from May of 2019 to December 31st, 2022. We've done that and then some in half as many episodes in 2023. So it's been a fantastic year, and I want to keep the ball rolling. And thank you all for downloading. Thank you all for listening. It means a lot. We're going to do it no matter who's listening, but it's nice to know that people are.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now we're going to continue our comic book movie journey through film next week with a good old fashioned shitter and X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Talk about going from 100 to 0 real quick. We are going quite the opposite direction, but that's what this project's all about. You got to highlight everything.
Yes, you do. We're getting the good, the bad, and the ugly, man. That's just the way we're going to do it. But to offset some of the rougher weeks ahead, we are also beginning a new director's spotlight next week. In anticipation of Ferrari, we will be discussing some of the movies from Michael Mann's filmography. It begins with Thief next week, and it will continue the weeks after that all the way until the end of 2023. I always like to use the end of the year as a natural reset for the podcast. Whatever comes next, it's sort of a new beginning,
New season. A new
exactly.
New year.
But yeah. Winter is Blooming on Monday. We continue that. Season 6, Episode 3. Very excited for that. We're getting there. We're getting there with that. We knew we made a big commitment. And man, it's still going. It's been a little over a year now, and we're still kicking. And we're gonna finish that strong. I can promise you that. But yeah, Winter is Blooming. If you have not watched Game of Thrones, I would not recommend listening to that podcast as we spoil the shit out of stuff. So steer clear if you have not watched Game of Thrones. But if you have, it might be the best Game of Thrones rewatch podcast out there. I don't know. I haven't listened to enough to tell you. Yeah. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And thank you very much, Clare DeGennaro, for joining us once again.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
Oh, of course. Of course. You are welcome back anytime, as you well know by now. And we'll have to figure out if there's anything besides the Dark Knight trilogy coming up that you might want to, because I don't think we'll reach the Dark Knight Rises come the end of the year. I think that's that's 2024. So if there's something in the meantime, we'll have to nail something down. But in the meantime, I'll send us off by honoring Claire's favorite line here. Remember, peace, love, and bloom, and you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.